4:19 says, "But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Jesus Christ." The enemy comes to steal. Jesus comes to give. Jesus comes to give. The enemy comes to kill. Jesus comes to give us life. The enemy comes to destroy. Jesus comes to rebuild. Jesus comes to give us that power, that resurrection power. See, he supplies. The enemy subtracts. The enemy subtracts things from you because he steals it and he kills it and he destroys it. But our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, he came that we may have life and that more abundantly. Once again, for those abundant supplies, call on Jesus. The word says, Philippians 4:19, "But my God," are you hearing this? My God. Can you call him your God? Have you called on him? Have you made him your Lord and Savior? Have you said, "Lord, I need you. Lord, I can't do this by myself. Lord, save me. Save my family. Help me to be the man that I need to be." Have you called on him? Brothers and sisters, call on him right now. He said, "But my God shall supply all your needs." And he means all your needs according to his riches. He owns the cattle of 1,000 hills. He owns it all. He owns the gold, the silver. I know you might think that, well, man has this and he got that, and it's still God. When you get in the right position, in the right alignment, in the right relationship with Jesus Christ, then you can call on him. And because he says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be given unto you." So you want the power, you want the grace, you want the joy, you want the abundant life? Call on Jesus, my brothers and sisters, because if you call on him, he will supply, because there's a way out of your mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Rome, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
And it is time for Ask Your Neighbor. And you know who's in the studio here? We got David West and his cast of characters. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Brought both my neighbors with me. I've been asking my neighbors. They don't know nothing. It's screwed up. It's true. I asked one of them. He said, "Let me call and ask my neighbor." Oh, I just joking. We got, of course, Howard's regular. You know, he's in the staff. I told him, I said, "If I let you go over and do it, you can do it just like I can." But Rockland Hughes is a longtime friend of mine. I've known him since he in the world, and his daddy was a real good friend of mine, and his grandpa was a super friend. This is all down through the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell something quick on your daddy. He's just a little boy, and he was in the backseat of that Cadillac when this guy opened this cider place. He didn't know it. That cider get hard. When it get hard, he give you a buzz, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he was in the back seat and said they give him a cup of that and he drunk or something. And see, that man didn't know it was. He called it sharp cider because it bites your tongue. He didn't know it's alcohol. And somebody had Tim's and men. That'd make him people drunk, wouldn't you? You know, like Andy Griffin, that cider got hard. Yeah. And he said, I just jumping all over the back. Oh, give me that. And I just started flopping and jumping. And they said, what's wrong with that kid? And said, one of them said, you know, I believe this cider's hard. That's what it was. It was giving him a hard cider back there. But anyhow, Mr. Afton didn't know it. And so somebody told him, he said, that ain't sharp and sweet and mild and all that. He said, that's just, it's potent stuff. So if you let it work off, it's just like anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Corn or anything, it just work off, make alcohol. But anyhow, what happened, they used to come to church with us out there, and after church, we'd open up. A lot of church people would go out there and drink cider. We'd go out there and open up. When we did, they'd all, a bunch of them come out there and let's get cider and whatever it was. We had ice cream and stuff. And so that's, you know, they come to, it was back in Dooley's Chapel. This had the old church built back in 1947. But anyhow, it comes from a good long line of preachers. His your great-grandpa was a preacher. Your grandpa was a preacher. Your daddy was a preacher.
Yes,
and now you're a preacher.
If you can call me that. Sometimes I am, if the Lord gets a hold of me. I tell everybody, I come from a long line. I'll probably be the worst one, but as long as I'm on the battlefield, it's all that matters.
You saying you're going to be the end of the line, right? Anyhow, I'll tell you one quick story. I forget to call it him. I get him mixed up. I've been with him so many years, but your grandpa, Paul Hughes, was at Corbin. They had that Corbin church up there.
Yep.
Him and Lamar, Ed Gossett.
Yeah.
And so his son was a disc jockey here for many years with Ron, Eddie Lamar.
It's okay, I've heard
Eddie
that.
Lamar his name was Eddie Lamar Gossett.
Right.
And his stage name's Eddie Lamar. But anyhow, we supposed to go up and play at Corbin Church. And me and Charlie Huff, and I believe it was Earl Moody, was in front seat of this big O's. His wife got a big O's. And we was coming down, back into the interstate, we was on that 2-lane highway, you know. And we went up through there, and it was good. I mean, he was flying about 60 miles an hour, way too fast, but there's no traffic hardly. He was really letting it roll. And when he got up there, just the minute he went across Tennessee, Kentucky line, that road up there wasn't nothing like what we've been driving on. You didn't have lines on there hardly. You couldn't hardly see them. He went up there at 60 miles an hour and hit that other black trolley. First thing that car done is start fishtailing. I thought, oh, shoot, we're in trouble. Stupid like that guy driving hit the brake. I mean, he hit it bad to stop it. It didn't stop. It turned right around backwards and went right down the highway backwards as straight as it could go. And I was sitting there, you couldn't have drove a 10-pin nail in my fingers.
Yeah.
I mean, it was scary. It seemed like it went a mile, but it went several feet, I'm sure. And when it did, it went over to the edge of a big old, they'd been digging a lot of mud, but there's a drop-off down there about, I guess, close to 100 feet. You look down there and you was above the trees where it's at up there, and directly that thing's a boom, it just stopped like it. What done, it got in that mud and just bottomed out. And it stopped. He looked down there and he said, you boys have to get out on your side. So this side over here, he said, it's a drop-off. So we got out, and when we did, it's marked from up the axles. I mean, deep. He said, well, we looked ahead of us, and for just a few blocks was a truck stop. And so we're at that truck stop so we'll get some of them old boys push us out. And there's some of them old truck stop hangouts, you know, they've been there all night drinking coffee. And he said, hey, boy, we walked over to the booth or table and said, would you help us push his car out? He said, if you'll let us ride to Corbin, he said, that's where we're going to Corbin. He said, yeah, we'll pile you in there. They go out there and look at it and said, you can't push that out. I said, Lord, that thing's in the mud, plumb up the axles. And he said, well, let me go back to the truck stop. He went up there, and there's a black guy there, great old big fella, boy, he looked like Superman. He said, could you help us get out of that dinner? He said, yeah, but we won't do no pushing. He said, I'm driving one of them tractor and trailers. So he pulled down on the wrong side of the road. Of course, there wasn't no traffic much Sunday morning. And they put a big log chain. It's about 25 feet long, or 30, maybe 50. And he tied his reins back in. They got some pasteboard and it crawled under, and one of them didn't. Hooked it around the back axle. Hooked it that big old truck up there. They had them big old hooking things, you know.
Yes, sir.
He just put it in gear and just eased him out just like it wasn't in that big old truck. He said, I'm just going to pull you straight out up here. And then well, when he did, it got backed up, and he thought we got the chain unhooked. He started, and we jumped back. We knew we didn't have time to unhook the chain. He took off flying. I looked at that guy's eyes. It was about like that. He knew what was going to happen. He ran out of chain. He ran out of chain. He raised that thing plumb up off the ground, the back end. When wheels went jumping, you know, it about broke his neck. And them old boys was going to go to Corbin. They said, one of them said, how long have they been driving? I said, no more than I mean, all together. So we got out. We went to Corbin. That's a good Corbin trip right there. Did you ever live in Corbin? Or?
I never did live in Corbin, no, sir. Dad did, but I never did.
Yeah. Where'd they move to? Would your daddy move into Alabama? Or?
Yeah, and my grandpa left Corbin and then moved to Gadsden, Alabama.
Alabama.
He did.
Did y'all have dinner? That's where you was raised in there?
I was born in Dalton, Georgia.
Oh, were you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who's your daddy's first pastor, do you remember?
Knoxville.
Knoxville? Yeah.
He got put in 1972. That's the year I was born.
Yeah.
He stayed there until 1992.
Hey.
So.
Yeah, I forgot about him being there, but I knew it now.
Yeah, in fact, him and Pratt and Jimmy Mathis was pastors there together, you remember?
Yeah. Pratt used to come out every day. We'd go to eat at church. Right?
Yeah.
We'd study and study. And he was something else, that Pratt was. I thought the world of him. Boy, if I had a friend, he's one of them.
He was a good one.
And I mean, he was just good as gold. And he'd all the time call you up. I remember I had COVID. I took COVID. It's pretty good. It's after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I started getting sick on Thanksgiving Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I went up there and they put me in lockdown.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd never see nobody again. And Pratt was in Florida on a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
They called him and he answered the phone. She told him what was going on. He called me right quick. I'm talking about right. Said, David, said, do you need me to come up there and stay with you? He said, I'm just on vacation. I'll pull out here right this minute. They can stay on vacate out. I said, no. He said, well, I don't care to come up there. I said, they won't let you back here nowhere. Oh, I'm a preacher. They'll let me. I said, you might be a preacher, but these dudes have got Eskimo suits on. They come back here. I said, the doctors would stand 6 feet away from me.
Yeah.
And try to doctor you 6 feet away. I thought that's the hardest night that I've ever spent in my life. I had to make myself breathe because I knew I was going to die there, because a lot of my friends didn't die there, and they couldn't even hear their loved ones or nobody there say bye to them.
No.
Oh, man, you talk about scary. It was scary. So he was calling me about every hour and praying for me. He had people praying for me. They come in there next day or two. Next day, I stayed that day and night. And he got about evening of the next day, and two doctors come in and said, Buddy, said, would you just soon go home and get through this? Said, there ain't much you can do for it. Tylenol or something. He said, you have to take a few little something you can take. He said, your breathing is 98. It's been that way all night. Said, your breathing's good. And I said, shoot, yes, I'd like to go home. That's why I'd rather die at home, you know.
Absolutely.
At least I can be somebody to tell them bye. And so they let me come home. But when I get home, I didn't quit. I really suffered then. I lost, in 2 weeks or 3, I lost 20 pounds of weight. So you take it off of me. Of course, you couldn't eat nothing. No. It hit me in my stomach.
Yeah.
And some people hit them in their head and they got couldn't smell, couldn't taste.
Yeah.
Now I know what's wrong with you. I said, now I know what's wrong with you. Hit you in the head.
Where did it hit you at, Earth?
All over, buddy. I had it and pneumonia all at the same time.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Man, I was sick old dog. I thought that's it for me too.
Yeah. You had it a long time. Quite a bit after I did.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, I was wrapped up. I wasn't up amongst the first, but I was up there pretty close. They didn't know what it was. Start
Me
with it.
first hit, yeah.
They thought it was flu everybody's getting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I took it the second time. Oh, the second time it hit me in the head that time. Oh, you talk about sick. I woke up, my head was splitting open, temperature, and they just put that new thing in it in Knoxville to doctor people for it.
Yeah.
They give you transfusions. That's the first thing they started doing, transfusion. And my doctor told Karen, said, now, the insurance might not pay for that, so he may have paid for it out of his pocket. She said, he wants to get that off him.
It don't matter.
He said, they called me in, and I was either the first one or second one that got the transfusion. They said, go in there in the morning, and that thing's opening up tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
When it opens up, you'll be one of the first, and I was either the first or second one. And I'll tell you something, I was in there so sick, my head busted and everything, and they stuck that thing in my arm. And in 15 minutes, I could breathe, my head's cleared up, I didn't have no headache, no temperature.
Wow.
They said, and it takes 30 minutes to take this, and then you got to sit there for hours and make sure they can key you. Otherwise, they did that way. No side effect. I took that stuff, and in 30 minutes, I was cleared. I didn't know I had it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got up, walked out there, and jumped over the curb. I said, look here, I feel brand new again. So, they had stuff for it, but it's experimenting. But it's just like Grandma. If Grandma can make a good cake, she can make a bad one.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing to start with. The deal was I started figuring it out. The transfusion, a lot of insurance wouldn't pay for it. Mine did.
Right.
I had some high-price insurance, but a lot of people couldn't afford to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have enough to go around for the whole United States. They'd give it if it had enough.
Sure.
But they didn't have enough. Nobody was prepared for it, see, and it was just something. Did you ever have it, or you never?
I never caught COVID. With my wife's cooking, I wish I would have, because it get rid of the taste, you know?
I hope she's not listening. I'm just saying.
Yeah, usually everybody around you took it.
But I never got it. My wife got it. My son got it. My mom got it. But I never got it.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
All of my Steve had it. My sister, that's my nephew. Both my sisters had it. And she'd have him call the ambulance. She said, I'm dying. They come over and doctor her right there. They give her Tylenols and stuff and take me to the hospital. They said, honey, we can't.
Oh,
They ain't got no room.
sitting out in the halls and everything.
Hmm.
But that's when I went and had, like I had pneumonia plus the COVID. And the doctor said, I'm just going to tell you. He said, I'm going to give you steroids. He said, send you home. You'll be better off at home than you will be here.
Right.
You see down that hall, all these people sick, nowhere to put nobody. And I'll tell you, by the time the time I got home, man, I was already feeling better.
Oh,
He shot
yeah.
them steroids to me. Man, I felt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they gave my wife steroids
Yeah.
and my son steroids, and it was like night and day
Yeah,
in a couple
it is.
hours. It's,
Yeah.
You know.
You know what was so strange about it?
So I can see you.
There's very few people in the political world even had it.
Yeah.
Think about that. And one or two, when the president got it, they had him cured in 2 days
Mm-hmm.
or 3. He was out there going, but they had it. I
How
don't,
many thousands died on them nursing homes and stuff?
yeah,
They couldn't
That's
afford
sad.
it. They couldn't afford the medicine.
yeah.
Loved ones couldn't go see him.
No.
They looked at him through the window. Was the
Yeah,
closest
through the
place
window.
they could get.
Oh, the nurses looked like Eskimos. They had the thing over their head,
Oh, yeah.
big old sleeves and gloves, and you remember, babe, made me think about Fred Smith. Said he walked in one day and he had this real long pole, it's 11 foot. And they said, "What are you doing with 11 foot? What is that?" He said, "It's 11 foot pole." And I said, "What are you doing with it?" He said, "So I can get people won't let you touch them with a 10-foot pole."
That's pretty good. That's
That's what made me think of that.
That's pretty good.
But the doctors was what got me. No doctor ever come up to me. I mean, they stood in the door at least 6 foot. I'd walk in and say, "Pull your mask up over your nose." And I'd get talking directly to Paul. "Pull that mask back up."
You know, I was in the hospital right before that happened, or it just broke out. I had my left kidney taken out. So I was in the hospital after just going through major surgery, and like I said, they wouldn't. They were dressed up from head to toe, but some nurses were and some nurses wasn't. It was like, you know, they just. I guess I was at the very beginning of it.
Yeah.
It was just coming out, but yeah. But I had my kidney out, and nobody was allowed in the room. My wife couldn't visit me, but my pastor somehow snuck up the back way and got to my room and came to visit me.
Well, they let the pastor in most cases,
Yeah.
regardless of what shape you're in, before they will leave you.
And how you doing
your
since your
family or
kidney?
anything.
I'm doing fine. Got one kidney. I got to just watch what I do, you know. Got to watch the blood pressure and the sugar and the salt intake. So really, it's just no fun.
Yeah.
I never was a drinker anyway, so I didn't drink beer or alcohol,
Right.
or heavy liquor, so I didn't have to worry about that. But it was an eye opener, let me tell you. You know, this all started in Vegas, and I had a urologist in Vegas. He says, "Well, your tube leading from your kidney into your bladder is constricted." He says, "We could do 3 things. We can go in there and put a stent in, unattach it, widen it, you know, and then put it back, or we can leave it alone." I said, "Well, you're the doctor. What would you do?" He said, "I would leave it alone. You got another kidney." So I get here, and my doctor tells me, "Man, you wouldn't have had a third choice. It would have been a stent but I wouldn't have given you that third choice."
Yeah.
So, but we got a doctor tells you you're going to be all right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, don't worry about it. So, yeah, but I'm doing good so far.
God's amazing.
It
Boy,
is.
There's a lot of my friends died with it. One of them was a preacher, and he was in there, and he said one of my favorite people. He was, I forget what denomination he was. I used to go around serving laws and stuff. He was a real nice guy. He said, "I believe if it's before you take it, you will." And I mean, it wasn't 3 weeks. He had it and died with it. Of course, he was pretty big and had some breathing problems, I think, anyhow. And it was just, it just seemed like it was just something. It hit everybody. Of course, it hit my sister. Before I got out of her, they gave me the best room in the hospital. That's the only one was open. There's one room open. When they found I had it, they gave me 2 tests or 3. They said, "To make sure." I said, "I don't feel like I got anything. I didn't even thought I was sick, but I had it. They test you for it anywhere you went."
Yeah.
And they said, "We ain't got but one room. It's the best one in the hospital. And then it had another quarters over where you sleep and 2 speakers of television. You're like you're in 2 rooms." And but before I left the emergency room to go up there, I looked and they were head to toe, from my room. And that's in the emergency room. Plumb to the door. And I looked, they were backed up plumb to the door. They said, "We can't bring them more in here." That's all.
So I'm turning them away.
Yeah.
Said, "We got a place for them."
Yeah.
I had a cousin, his father-in-law was a preacher in Georgia, and they had a homecoming right in the middle of COVID. And they had over 200 and something people that came to the homecoming. They're part of that religion, doesn't believe in medicine, doesn't believe in going to the doctor. Well, like 80 people died from that one meeting, that one homecoming at the church. And he worked all his life for the church, and it was what took him out, you know.
Yeah.
Sad.
But that's a good way to go.
It is, I guess.
I mean, if that's what he...
You know, we've seen a lot of things in church. Me and him saw an awful lot. That me and Pratt used to get together and tell stories about some of the funny things that happened on the road. playing music and some things. Of course, your mother, see, they had Joyful Sound, a big group. They did a lot of playing.
Yes.
And that's back when we was doing a lot of gospel and Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
Joyful Sound and Trailblazers put on concerts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Had a real good band, but we was talking about some of the funny things that happened at these little churches. The little churches were more funnier than the big churches. Big churches was more on 1, 2, 3. It's on the budget, I guess. But these little ones, I remember I went this time to church. My daddy was a deacon. Of course, we just had a little church, a little block church out there, built in 47.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, at 47, I was just 5-year-old, so I started, that's where I went and started church. It was my home church. But this guy come in, I'm not making fun of the way he talked, but he come in there from Georgia or somewhere. Bless God, he couldn't talk to my friends. Bless God, he got in there. He started preaching. He said, bless God, said, I feel bad periods around here. And he said that, my daddy, then the deacon, he sat there and listened to it. My daddy, he'd call you down if you just kept on. Bless God, said, I feel a bad period here. He kept on. Daddy stood up and said, I guess you do. You brought it with you.
Well.
I mean, he'd get up. I got to tell you something funny that poor guy said. I'm not making fun of him because you're probably doing the best you knew how.
Sure.
If you're doing the best you know how, you're just as good as me or anybody else. That way I feel bad. But my aunt was sitting there, and he was no, it wasn't my aunt, it was another lady that worked. She worked all night, and she had a revival, and she getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going to one of them meals, and this guy was preaching at Brother Kitchens. You remember Brother Kitchens?
Oh, I love
He got right up in front of her face, and he said, bless God, sister, you ain't one bit interested. Well, she about to go to sleep. In a 2 weeks revival, and get up 4 o'clock in the morning, but this guy that didn't talk to me, he walked up to my aunt, and he said, bless God, sister, I'm just going to tell you, one of these mornings you're going to wake up dead.
Wake up dead.
Yeah, wake up dead. It's funny, some of the places I've been, and some of the things that went on. You know, there's a church over in our community. I believe it was a Baptist, maybe. I don't know what denomination. I shouldn't say that. They had so many different ones over there, and they got in a fight. This is way back before my time. I heard my daddy and them talk about it. They got in a fight back in. You didn't go to the doctor, they come to you.
Sure. And
when they did, one of them cut the other's throat. And the doctor come and sewed him up on the motor's bench. That's what they said. So they saw him get rough. You know,
yes,
you know, I read one time in the newspaper where here in Knoxville, 2 preachers, I don't know nothing about the denomination, but 2 preachers got into a fight. And one of them killed hit him with the Bible and killed him. Just broke his neck. That was in the newspaper. Read it, and then, you know, you'd have these preachers come in that could just do everything. They'd heal you, and they healing services.
Killed him with the sword, but I don't believe that's the sword. I don't believe that's the way. Right. I don't believe that's the way that was meant.
A. Allen, you need to look him up sometime. Listen to him, brother. You remember him? I heard Brother A. Allen had that big radio show.
Oh, yeah.
I remember A.
And then they start finding out about him. It'd be like a service company come through or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which is one or not. I'll tell you one that was true. I was playing for Jimmy Duncan, congressman, was doing that. And this boy was a mandolin player for me. In fact, his wife is a politician here now. And he's one that told me this. And see, I'd been listening to his brother Roloff. I'd been listening to Mr. Roloff, some of his things on radio. Boy, I mean, he was real, like he's saying, strict on, he didn't want you eating potato chips, he didn't want you reading the newspaper. He was real strict.
Mm-hmm.
But he had this big place in Texas, I believe it was, and he didn't want you to, you know, do all kinds of things. And yet it was a home for homeless girls.
Mm-hmm.
A girl of anybody underage. And he really did do a good thing for people, you know. And he had some of them he had picked out, and they went with him to sing. He called them his honeybees. And he had his own plane and everything. And when he did, I kept up with him because I just get interested in somebody or something, and I'd stay with him and watch him. And when I did, well, Corpus, Texas, I believe it was, he went in and told them, he said, they loaded that plane down and they had all them girls in there, and I don't know what size of it. They said in the newspaper he was well loaded, maybe more than he should have had. And it was a storm. And he thought, because he's a preacher, I'm going to the Lord, just do anything. And I was talking about this. I didn't know that this boy's daddy was the second man. He was a vice in it, whatever it is, or the second moderator or something.
Right.
Yeah. And he started telling me all about it. And I said, what caused him? I said, what caused him his plane to crash? And he said, well, they told him not to go. And he's going to go anyhow. And they said, it's just too bad, especially for little planes. They're not sending none of them out. I'm going to go. I'm going for the Lord. And said he went up there and got in a storm. It blew both wings off. Both wings off when it come down. And I said, I wonder if he thought of potato chips and RC cola. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh,
I mean, my mama called it straining a net and swallowing a camel.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
But that was something, but the way some people, some things they believe, I mean, they believe that that's what America's about.
I grew up in Las Vegas, so I'll go down to Georgia to visit my cousin, and he went to a holiness church where they don't believe women don't cut their hair, women don't put makeup on. And one Sunday I went there. At first I was scared to death because they were talking in tongue and running around the church and doing flips over just scaring the heck out of me, kicking holes in the wall. They got the spirit in them, and the women would pray and shake their heads, and that hair would be flying everywhere. But anyway, there was a lady sitting in the front row with makeup on, and the pastor made her get up, come down front, and pray, and had everybody in the church come down and pray for her because she had makeup on. I go, what in the heck? But it scared me to death. It scared Bibles and go flying across the room, and they talking in tongue, and I go, what in the heck is that?
I don't understand it.
I was waiting for the snakes to come out,
They get in that spirit, and I mean, they walk the bench top.
Oh, yeah, so
They walk benches back and forth.
That's what this pastor was doing.
There's something in them that just keeps them from
that's what they do to him, them snakes. They get in some kind of spirit, and they don't get bit or something. I mean, we'll get that chapter directly, but I'll tell you this one. You talk about talking in tongues and prophesying, and I was at church, and they got up. This woman, she was going to prophesy. She stood up, and she said, and, it was just some stragglers would come in, one or two of them back there about half drunk, and how it goes, someplace to get in. And she got up, she said, I had a dream last night. I said, I dreamed I saw this animal. Said it had like a horse, but it wasn't a horse. Said it had hoofs like a horse, but it wasn't a horse. Had mane like a horse, but it wasn't a horse. Had a tail like a horse, but it wasn't a horse. At that time, that drunk said, hey, woman, I know what you saw. You saw a mule. You look like you know this is serious. You saw a mule.
Well, at least he interpreted it.
He interpreted it, didn't he? He interpreted it. And the one she got up and done, she prophesied a lot, this big old thing that she for
a mule.
But anyhow.
That's fine.
She's testifying, and she get up and tell about her dreams. She had a lot of dreams, had a lot of dreaming. And I remember the preacher said she's up there telling one of them poor off ones, you know what your trouble is, lady? She said, what? He said, you've been eating too much bologna before you go to bed. I guess it's 15 years ago, I wanted to see some snake in a church. I'd been to a lot of churches, and I had played with Charlie Huff, a guy that was going with us up there and had run over the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And he took us to his place, and Johnny Burr, we all picked guest Continental, his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And we all went together and picked. I'd pick banjo, and Charlie played guitar, and Johnny played mandolin. But anyhow, we went to this little country church. They had them big boxes there. I didn't know what there was. After we got out, I said, that's where they keep their snakes. So they just didn't handle them at night. They probably afraid we'd scare them. I said, well, I got to go see some of this. I got to see what they can do. You know, I'm from Missouri, I guess, as they'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I went in there, and they was nice. Now, I didn't get up on an 8-man corner. I stayed there.
Absolutely.
And when I did, they tag teamed. The service lasted 3 hours. I mean, preached and sung, and boy, you talk about singing and playing music. They had some of the Grand Ole Opry people sound like a purple. And one be preaching, he'd preach real hard for 15 minutes. Another hit him on the shoulder, and he'd just stop and just take over and go 15 minutes. It's a sight to see how they done it. And we got up there to how they took them out. Man, I mean, they take them up to lights and stuff like that. You know, copperheads and rattlers reach up to them lights. I don't know what that had to do with it, but they had one snake. Must have had 25 snakes laying out. There's in these pretty little boxes, gold, and there's a glass box about this big. They just hold a snake, and that's one of the biggest rattlers I ever saw in my life. I said, sir, I didn't go up there and make fun of him. I wanted to understand what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And I said, how big is that snake? What does it weigh? He said, 36 pounds. Wow. I said, would you let me pick it up in that box? I want to see how I lifted a 36-pound snake. He said, yeah, go ahead. I've told some people back before. They said, I remember that snake. I said, that belonged to brother so-and-so. But before we went up there, John Rice Irvin, the Appalachia, called me. He knew I was studying him a little bit. And he said, Dad, you know how he talks. Would you like to go to a snake handling church? And I said, yeah, let's go see one. Can you go in the morning? And I said, yeah, I'll go anytime. We got to go to Virginia and stop and pick up some congressman. And said he got a big farm up there, and he wants to go. We'll stop and pick him up. He wants to go with us. And John and his brother, and me and the congressman. And he furnished the food, the meat. The meat was buffalo, best I ever eaten in my life. I have never eaten no better beef than that. And when we got there, that's where it didn't start. I don't know. It was about 3 hours after we got there. It might have been longer. I think we'd get close. But he said, now, if you bring women with you, they can't wear pants and stuff. You have to have dresses. And he told me the code that you had to have. Mm-hmm. But you talk about playing music, and you talk about food. And I didn't want them to. They had this huge, big old thing of covered over thing where you could eat, tables and tables. There's a lot of people, there probably 400 or 500 people. It's a big thing. And they said, we're going to put these guests here, these 3 guests, we'll put them on very first, and I didn't want to do that. 4 people, you know, and I said, they put us up there first, and I was eating that meat, and I said, what on earth is this? I said, this is baby beef or something. It's the best. He said, no, it's buffalo. He said, I furnished it for the service. And going up there, they had them, boy, you talk about fences. They were built like it was going to hold bars or something, big old high fences and posts every few feet. And you see the buffalo out there running around. Mm-hmm. See, they had them buffalo. I said, what is them? He said, it's buffalo. I said, that's what you're going to eat today. Boy, you talk about good. It was good. But they're taking them out and getting ready for the next service. And I was as far as near to him. They took one of them great old biggins out, and he got him out. He wasn't trying to show out, and he got him out, and he said, what church you going to tonight? And he'd tell me, say, well, you want to use this snake here? And he just handed it to him. That old snake goes to different people. And then I went to this other one. I went to this other to check it out, and they had Coke bottles and a big old thing down in it, fuse, I guess you'd call it, like a candle.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got in the spirit, they lit them things. I saw him take a cigarette lighter out of his pocket and light it. I mean, it wasn't no. I was about 40 in from it. I was wasn't on the front row, but I was pretty close to it. And he lit all them bottles, and I don't know what they was drinking. They had cans and stuff. It wasn't something I'd heard of. It didn't say Pepsi on it or nothing like that. But they get in the spirit and they take a big swig of that. They said it was Drano or somebody told me. But he took, I saw this guy do it. He lit that bar, and that bar, was running that high off that big fuse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that big old, whatever it is they put in it. And he get in a big way, and he'd take his hand and stick it over it. And you see the blazes come through his fingers, like that right there. And I said, boy, you're going to be burned up this time. Ricky, take it out, and it's just like that. I mean, he's got something, I don't know.
Yeah, there are churches that drink poison, too. They drink poison and handle snakes.
Yeah, poison, that's Drano stuff.
Yeah. There's a video on YouTube, if you look it up, about a pastor who was handling a snake, and it bit him right on the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that one?
I did see that one.
And he died right up there on behind the pew.
Mm-hmm.
So, man.
It's like Wendy Bagwell was saying. He was telling a story. They was at a snake handling church, and then they went in. They's like, what are all these pictures on the wall? They's like, them are the people who took up the snakes in faith and then lost it. Wendy Bagwell's like, I'd probably be on the wall.
Yeah, he said.
I don't want to be in no room where a snake is.
They thought he was in the spirit, and they thought he won. He said, where's the back door? And they said, we ain't got one. Who do you want?
Who do you want one? Yes, sir. We're fixing to make one.
Hey, Charlie, that guy I told you, drove a car almost over the bluff. He cut up about everything, and he was telling us a story about these. He said, I went to a church handling snake church one night, and said, they got them out, and said, they come with one of the snakes right toward me, will hand it to me, and I said, I'm kind of young in the faith, pitch me a little.
I want a baby.
But he was talking about these brothers named Harlow and Carlo.
Harlow and Carlo.
And he said they got in a snake church with him, and they was going to handle them snakes, and they brought him for going, here they come, one of them. He said, Charlie, chicken me, Harlow. He said, Charlie, chicken me, Carlo. Said, give it to Carlo.
Give it to Carlo.
Passing on down the line, he didn't want him. But it's, I'm not making fun of him. It's not.
They believe in something, they believe in something.
Yeah, see, I used to, of course, I picked for Kes Walker for years, and also we paid his supermarkets all that big discount. We made those scissors and everything. Absent Sign Company, I worked for them too.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Sevierville, I was playing 7 nights a week, Mom and Buster there at the big Coliseum. We just get us a room and stay up there. We'd do that whole supermarket, all them cartoons and all that stuff. And Mr. Walker he'd hit him snake shows at he'd put one up in front of the supermarket, maybe about a week.
Mm-hmm.
They'd go around and charge him so much, and had this huge tent. They had all kinds of snakes, gobs of snakes in there. You could walk up and look at them, you couldn't get in with them, but this guy in with him just does everything with them. And he'd been bit so many times that I talked to him when this was, whenever the crowd left, he done his show, and I said, do you ever get bit? He said, I've been bit so many times. He said, any one of them snakes there could bite me right now, it wouldn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm immune to it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I am immune to them snake bites. He said, now I started out as rough, but he looked a little wild in his eyes too.
I bet.
I didn't let him bite me.
Well, I say that if you get snake bit, if you go to the doctor or hospital or wherever, then that's what they give you.
So
A venom.
The anti-venom.
Yeah,
the anti-venom.
Yeah. It's $100 stuff. They collect it, save it. They get them snakes and milk them somehow or another to get that venom. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy this past summer that died. Him and his kids were on a trail. someplace around here, Grundy County, someplace on the trail, and he saw a snake. And let's see what that is. He picked it up, and the snake bit him, and he died on the trail.
Oh my!
Yeah, it don't take long. Yeah.
And but anyway, don't like no snakes. Mm-mm.
When I get through with the snake, anybody can handle it. I'm out.
Yeah.
And they can make a hat band out of it.
I'm just saying.
Can you handle it, that, bro?
When I get through with it, you can.
There's a friend of mine, I won't call no names, he might be listening to this one, because he's straightened up now and he's really doing well, but he got growing some stuff he shouldn't. And he had this big new trailer, 3 or 4 bedroom, went back and took a floor out and planted it in there. It's brand new, He made Paul Harvey news. Mm-hmm. And he turned copperheads and stuff loose in his house. He wasn't scared of them, so that nobody wouldn't get in there and get his stuff. And so we sold him a load of stuff, me and Fred Smith. And I didn't know all that was going on. No. We was carrying him speakers in and getting PA system stuff. We was carrying in. Fred said, I like your little rubber snakes you gave. He said, them ain't rubber snakes, that's copperhead. What? He said down and said, get out of the way, David, I'm backing out. But I guess you get by with a lot of things. You ain't got no knowledge of it. Not scared of it too bad, but I've been through a lot of stuff like that. We've had so many exciting things that happen when you get there and play music like we did. See, I do lots of times. I've done like 300 shows a year, mm-hmm. And we went all over the country and saw stuff. We used to have we worked for Quaker Oak Company. Of course, Jim Walter Home was our big sponsor, mm-hmm. And they done television. And see, like we'd get Quaker Oats when we didn't have nothing to do in the daytime on a lot of shows. Jim Walter usually just had a Saturday and Sunday. And then the way they did that, they had we'd do Wise North in Appleton, Virginia. We played something in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. But if you done Tennessee, they'd probably say we'd do Clinton, Rocky Top, and the Folly. Mm-hmm. We'd do them 3 in one day. One of them get breakfast, one get lunch, and one get supper. And they'd block off one of the big streets up there because there'd be a crowd come out. You get all the pancakes you'd eat, got no sausage, all the sausage you wanted, all the milk you wanted, all the coffee you wanted, and your mama pancake syrup and pancakes, mm-hmm. And eat all of them you want. And we'd do that every year. We had a circuit of them. We played every year for so many years. And they had this truck would go ahead of us. He had a big stage. You go set the stage up, and then we pulled in. All we had to do is get up there and pick for 1 hour while they call it Feed the Town. And man, there'd be maybe 500 people standing out there. And boy, they had this big, huge long cooker, maybe 8 people cooking. Mm-hmm. Boy, this turned pancake. Go ahead, get in line, boy, it didn't take them long. 2, 4, how many you want? Tell me. And this one guy, he must weigh 300 pounds. He sat right there at the edge of the stage. He'd go over, just quickly eat him 3. He'd go over and he'd listen to a song over, and he'd eat about 8 or 10, and then he'd go get him a Coke out of the Coke machine. He wouldn't drink that milk or coffee, and then he'd belch real. You don't even know. Right, everybody. So me and that guitar player, I said, let's count, see how many he's eating. He ate 50-some odd pancakes that night. They just, on the last end, they said, I forget how many he eat on the last one. We counted 50-something. He said, it's getting close to a closing time, quitting time. And he said, the old boy said, I just stacked them on there. And he finally got down, so he wasn't cutting them with syrup. He'd just take them and roll them up and take about 4 bites, and he'd swallow them dry. Well, you want them pancakes, didn't you?
There was a guy recently, I read a story. He was at Golden Corral, and they had to call the police on him because he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't leave. He kept eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. finally they said, you got to go. No, I ain't going. It's all you can eat all day long. So they called the cops and they drug him out or rolled him out. One of the two.
He went to eat, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to eat.
God just took his
He got his money's worth. But
yeah. I took his pill and just stayed all night. You know, we had when they had the one on Clinton Highway, we had the manager over here. He would come over here and he bought some time spots on our show, and he'd come over here and talk to us. And the district manager over a whole slew of them, I guess all of them, came to over Clinton Highway, and he came out the store and bought a banjo from me, and he was real nice. And what that guy would do, he'd have us come over on a slow night, and that one of them room back there, he'd drop a corner off, and we'd play bluegrass. And you'd talk about, boy, then they'd pick it up, it'd be full that night, and have a crowd. And he said, well, I like that idea. It was his boss, his manager come up with it. And I said, anytime you want to play one of them, just tell him, I said, he said, I want these boys to play. Oh, he loved bluegrass. And we'd go over and play, and then he'd feed us all anything we wanted. And it was really something. That was years ago. We started doing that way back there. And
it was going under. That place on Clinton Highway was going under. And
yeah, they
hired him from somewhere out of state, and he come in, and man, he started that thing up, and it was filled it.
Oh yeah.
What is it now?
Good stuff too.
And
it's a
man, he
buffet
fixed
now.
pot roast.
Okay.
It actually melt in your mouth. And I think he told David he cooked it all night long, meat and stuff. And
he had the best.
Yeah.
And he take him. I like catfish, where they cut the heads off and leave them on the bones. You know, leave the whole cut. It's better fish. If you really want good catfish, you eat it off the bones and pull it off and eat it. Now, buddy, it tastes like catfish. And he'd have them over, and I ate them a time or two. And I said, boy, I like him. He said, you didn't have him this Friday. He said, I just do them once in a while. We got a slew of them come in, so they'll ship us a bunch of them. Said, anytime you all are coming now, or you and just anybody, you and some of your friends, tell me and I'll put them on with him that night. He'd do them catfish. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Well, his name's Alan, wasn't it, or something, I believe.
Yeah. Well, he went on vacation, if you remember, David.
Yeah.
And of course, he had that place to booming. And he went on vacation, come back, and somebody above him said, we're transferring you somewhere else to bring another restaurant up. You ain't going to transfer me nowhere. Oh, yeah, I said, we got to move you, get another place going. He said, no, I'll just quit. So he quit and went somewhere else. But man, they messed up and they let that dude go. Well, as you know, it closed up.
Is it pretty good now? It's a super buffet. Is it pretty good?
Really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It really is.
They have both food. They have country and...
They got Chinese food. They got steak. I've got everything. It's really good. It really is.
It's real good, yeah. It's a sight that what goes on over when the upper crust gets it and turns it around.
Yeah.
You look at Colonel. I read an article on Colonel. I study a lot of things that just nobody else would probably fool with, but I started studying Colonel Sanders, and he wrote a thing, said, if you will always put every ingredient on him chicken, said you'll never have to worry about business. You'll always have business. And the first thing he done is went into crispy, and then they took the original recipe and changed it. They never had it back. Somebody's smart up. Somebody just wants his way so bad, they just won't come back to it. That's all they have to do now. It's just so simple. Put a big sign up. The Colonel is back. 100% original Kentucky Fried Chicken. And you'd have to get it. You couldn't even get a seat in there. It's tonight.
Yeah.
That's how people swamp that place.
Look what they did to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And the customers said no, and they went back to the old way.
Yeah.
So they were cutting out the rocking chairs and
Oh, they were doing
winning
everything,
games.
redoing the interior,
Coca-Cola
took all
did
the
the same
antiques
thing.
out.
Gonna paint everything white.
Yeah, paint everything.
Cracker Barrel ain't white.
They changed it to Coke. And
Coke, yeah, they
plastic
did the
stuff.
same thing.
And they never
New
got
Coke.
back to the same old Coke. It was one of the best Cokes you could buy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people think they know more than people that invent stuff. You know,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
that's right.
I've heard that. I have
I'll
heard
tell you
that.
who's pretty smart on that stuff was the Japanese. When they bought out what tree wasn't it? They bought Nashville. They bought it one of the biggest record places down there.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, what are you going to do? Hard different people. No. He said, now here's what the way that we were buying it. You don't change nobody. And even the guy that we're buying it from, the top man, he has to work for a year or two to teach somebody to do his job. Because cities are making good money. We want to stay that way.
Yeah.
And so we're not changing anything. We're buying it because it's making money.
That's right.
We're not buying it to make a change.
The
And
same thing happened with Clayton Holmes. The boy that Clayton's son had to stay there so long, and he kept every employee he had. Why we wouldn't for them people didn't have to train somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I got to tell you funny on that from Clayton Holmes. Of course, me and Jim were always big buddies, but this was back in the 70s, early 70s when they changed to frost-free refrigerators. It's frost-free somewhere now. In the 70s, I'd say. I'm just guessing that, but anyhow, maybe mid or late 70s. So these two boys come in, they work for Clayton, had a brand new refrigerator in the back of their truck, still in a box. I forget what color it was, and they were on sale at Kmart for $258. It had the freezer across the top, but it wasn't frost-free. I said, well, where'd you get this? It ain't hard. No. We worked for Clayton Holmes, and said we did some overtime work, and they gave it to us. I said, okay. I traded him a guitar for it. So I run an ad in Thrifty Nickel. Back in, I said that there's somebody's winning papers. I don't know, it might not be them, but somebody winning those papers like that. That just come to mind. But I said, we got a refrigerator for sale. $150, brand new, still in the box. Well, it's $700. I did it. $150, yeah, this ain't about $100. Well, they called me up, and you know I'm not going to have the color they want. So I didn't have the color they wanted, but they wanted it bad, but they didn't take it. And I saw I could sell it. They had different colors. Well, they come back in a few days later, and I said, can you get any more of them refrigerators? He said, yeah, we get all of them you want. I said, they're just setting them out in the warehouse because they're putting in frost freeze. I said, frost free is one of the big selling points in the trailers this year. Everybody wants one of the frost-free refrigerators. This got the frost-free refrigerator in the stove. It kind of cleaned itself or something.
Yeah,
Said they're taking all that out. And so they got, so I called Clayton. I said, is these boys? And told them who they was. Yeah, I said, they're doing overtime, and so we're giving them all that stuff they want. Said, we got to do something with it, get out of here. And so I said, bring them on. They brought in there a truckload of them. I mean, we had refrigerators. You know where the Martin room is, where the garage was. All that was full of refrigerators. And a few stoves, but they're still in the box. The phone rings, we're calling about the refrigerator. You got, what color is it? And I said, well, I have to go look. What color was you wanting?
Yeah.
And I said, if you got it, if it's white, we want it, or if it's yellow, or copper, or whatever. I said, I have to go look at that now. And of course, I knew I had them all.
Sure.
I come back, it's your lucky day. It's copper. I so up to get how many
That's funny.
refrigerators. And then I got in the stove. I gave my mama they had one great old big, and I guess it went in one of the big places.
Mm-hmm.
And I give her a new stove and refrigerator the first time she ever had it. Brand new like that. It's real nice. But anyhow, somebody in Nashville was talking to me. Dennis, he called me this last week, and now. And he was talking about that. He said, boy, you used to sit down and figure out how to do things. And said, you remember when you bought all them refrigerators and you had to go out there and see if you had the right color, and the one you did had the right color. Avocado. Oh, it could be that. Let me go look at that. I know it's a funny name. That's what it is.
Hey, we got it.
I said, still in the box. Well, you didn't get to see all of them. So we'd push it out the door, knock the door, and then when he come, we'd load him up. And away you go. But we hit a whole lot of things like that. I'll tell you somebody that I just couldn't. See, I had this big monument truck we set monuments with. Had that big lift and everything on it. And I was building Dempster's, a building they reprocessed welding arc plugs. They done 2,500 pounds a day. They bring barrels, take it out, and heat. Somewhere they run it through this big heater and burn all the trash out of it and reach. It's just brand new when they get through it. It's doing 2,500 pounds a day, and they needed a building, and I built them at, and over at Clayton, that same bunch had loads of these A-frames where they started cutting the tongues off.
Mm-hmm.
They cut the tongues off and lay them over, and they just stacked them up. Man, they was. And this woman was building a new house over up above Walmart, one of them subdivisions. Building a big fine house. I don't know why she'd want this, but she'd come up and said, young man, I need to use your truck for a little while. And I said, what you need? She said, I need you to haul some posts for me. And I said, ma'am, I can't do that. I'm trying to get this building done. And she said, no, now, I'm going to make it worth your while. No, I can't. I just kept telling her no. She kept walking with me. Walk one in the building, walk the other. I said, tell people what to do. She said, now, I've got to have your truck. I need that lift some in. She didn't need them. We could load the post by hand. She said, but you're going to need them for what I'm going to give you. I said, okay. And she just kept on. I guess she stayed there an hour with me, and I saw one. She said, just come look at them. So I take her over. She goes right back in that Clayton place, right back in the back. I have never saw some of them with the hookup A-frames there. They were stacked high as this ceiling just everywhere. She said, now tell you what I'm going to do. I want you to take me about 8 of these round posts and deliver them up to where I build a house. I said, what are you going to do with them? She said, I'm going to cut them off and use them for stand-up posts in her basement. Well, she need them tested ones. Mm-hmm. That's what she wanted them, I guess, because it's free. I think she's some kind of dignitary in a wheel or something. She said, what I'm going to do to pay you, I want to give you, from the time you go in the morning, you go in early when they open up, to the time they close, you have everything there that you can haul in that length of time. All them A-frames and all them posts, get just as much of it you want. Now, you just get one day in there. And I done told them that white truck gets to come in now here all day long. You tell me which day. I went in there and I hauled A-frames. It's hot too. Me and that guy that worked for me, we was sick of A-frames. And I've even used them in buildings in there. Yeah. Some of them are in a lot of different buildings. I hauled them things, but you never know what kind of deal you're going to run into. And it's because I guess that she just wanted them few old posts and didn't want to pay for them. Yeah. Lord, there's some big deals. We're not out of cut. We're getting down there pretty close to quitting time. Let's tell them about our show dates. We got a Monday night coming up, already. Yeah. Monday night. Wild Wings, Monday night.
Wild Wings.
You gonna come over on Monday night?
Yes, sir, if you're gonna let me play one.
Okay. If you come over, what I got in mind, see, I got the bass player's a good fiddle player, too. I may put, he does The Devil Went Down in Georgia, but they hadn't practiced it enough to know it. So I'm going to get him and Rick to play twin fiddles maybe on a song or two.
If you want to practice it before we get there, you let me know.
Well, you don't need no practice. You're going to do old Joe Clark or Candy.
Don't need no practice.
Yeah. Hey, if we do The Devil Went Down in Georgia, we might need a little bit.
That's what I was thinking.
I remember one night, boy come in there, he wanted to play Saturday night on David's show. He asked David, said, when do we rehearse? David said, Saturday night on stage.
That sounds like us church people.
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to say, your mother, man, she can sing better than anything in Nashville.
She is pretty
In my
special.
opinion, she
really is.
Your daddy,
Man, she sings that gospel, makes the hair raise on your head.
well, she does a lot of funerals. You know, your daddy told me, said that he went to Nashville and told about his wife, your mother.
Yeah.
Said, Mavis Hughes said, my wife is a good singer. And they said, now, buddy, we appreciate you because everybody's wife's a good singer. He said, no, now, I wouldn't say everybody's just because I wouldn't even tell you mine is if she wasn't. I want you to listen to her. He took her one of the big recording studios and they recorded and said, you was right. She's different.
Yeah.
She can sing.
I tell you what happened. We went to Nashville to record a studio, Joyful Sounds. You had Brent Mason, Sonny Garris, Gary Prim, all your A-listers. You know, and they sang, you know, the singer sings through and the musicians just started out. When she got through singing 2 songs, and Sonny Garris stood up from his guitar, from his steel, and Brent Mason, and all of them, they clapped. It's like, we've never heard nobody put a scratch vocal like that. That did happen. I was there. That happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, we played with everybody in Nashville, but we've never heard nobody do a scratch vocal like that right there.
But she can sing. He said they told him, said, you're right, your wife can sing.
That's right.
And she went with Skaggs' band and did that song I wrote.
Yep.
Which one was it? Appalachian Dream.
Yeah.
Appalachian Dream, she done it. Well, she was with the Skaggs' band on some shows, too.
Mark Fain wanted her to do bluegrass all the time, which was Ricky Skaggs' band leader, the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Fain's great, but
Betty, she sung a lot of funerals. If when you walk into a funeral, she's singing, you know it's her.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just she sings so good. You have a feeling. She leaves a feeling.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it gets to your heart.
You can tell it's her over everybody.
I mean, it makes Coach children to be back. That's me. I know Larry Maper used to use her anytime he could get her to use her, man. He loved to hear Mavis sing.
We need to bring her over here one day.
yeah,
Here.
she'd like
She's
that.
from up there in Pine Knot somewhere.
Pine Knot, Kentucky.
Pine Knot, Kentucky.
That's where she's from, Pine Knot.
Kentucky.
Of course, I left hear your dad play too. He plays steel.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love steel guitar. That's my favorite instrument.
I got to tell
If it
you,
ain't country, if it ain't got a steel.
All right,
no.
no, it
I got to
ain't.
tell you a quickie. Was playing Wild Wings West.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, we started after that, just giving them a list.
Yeah.
But I told them I was playing 2 or 3 weeks ago after we done a show somewhere, and I said, now we're Crowd West, Wild Wings West, and we got there and there wasn't no piano, and there wasn't no electric guitar, but Rick wouldn't work with us then, so there was your daddy and me and the bass player and Chicken Man. That's all was there.
Mm-hmm.
And your mama.
Mm-hmm.
And your mama said, we just have to cancel this one. I said, cancel it? Well, I do it myself. We got to get that money.
Yeah.
I said, you know, the less plays, the more you make.
The less pay, the more pay.
That's right. But anyhow, she said, your daddy said, well, what are we going to do for lead? I said, we're going to have guitar and banjo. He had a flat top, his Takamina.
Mm-hmm.
I said, get this boy a microphone up here. He's going to play lead on a flat top.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started, and your mama started singing. Creed Daniels was there, the judge, and he said, oh man, we laid it on him. And she was singing some of them good old songs, and your daddy sung a little bit. And we played the breaks and a few instruments. Chicken Man, you know, he's a
Oh, yeah.
killer for showman anyhow. I mean, we put on a show, and Creed said, "Here, boy, one of the best shows you ever done in your life." And Rick said, David said, he's telling somebody, said, David, right there, if nobody showed up for him, so he put on a real good show. And that guy said, just what would you do if nobody showed up? I said, well, first off, I'd introduce myself and talk to them just a little bit, get a big hand going, you know, what time is it, showtime, make them holler.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd play them instrumental, tell them a little joke, and I'd say, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do something that hadn't been done before. I get a couple of $50 bills out of my pocket and say, we'll have a singing contest and a dancing contest. Now, Karen, come up here and get your table and bring you a pad. If you want to sing a little song, all you got to do, you have to do as much as a verse and chorus. You can do that or you can do more. You come up, put your name down, we're going to have you up there to sing. And, of course, I can play anything you want to sing on that badger. I play, you know, some rhythm. And I said, then, whoever will get the biggest hand, we're going to let everybody listen to them. And in fact, we might even point, you three right there look like judges. Come up here, we need some judges. See,
Yeah.
All this is going into the air I'm supposed to be doing over.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The air's melting, see? And I put him up there, and I said, look at that, like money I'd make.
That's right.
I'd make every bit of it. I'd be out to $100. Look how much I'd make off two $50 bills.
That's true.
And that dancing, you'd see some awful people on Cripple Creek. It'd really be funny. It'd be so funny they just laugh. But anyhow, let's get back to Wild Wings Monday night.
Wild Wings Monday night. What time?
It's over at, it's going to be from
6:30?
6:30, yeah. 6:30 to 7:30 is the first one. Then we go a little over 7:30, and then we do a little break, and then after that, we come back and do about 30 minutes. So They told me to do it any way I wanted to do it. When I took it, I wasn't going to take it because they had a guy up there told you when to pick, and he'd say one more. Well, you don't come out exactly that way. See, if I know ahead of time.
Yeah.
I finally told him, I said, I'll tell you something. You see this watch here? I had nothing on it. I said, this is a Ventura. It's one of the best Hamilton's ever been made. Saw it go. Now you tell me, you don't need to tell me when there's two more and one more.
No.
I'm going to stop right on that. Right smack dab on that.
Mm-hmm.
I said to Freddie Smith, you know what? He laughed about that. He thought that's funny. I said, now, you just turn me loose, and I'm going to quit at 7:30, just like I'm supposed to. I quit on the button. Because, I've been used to doing shows everywhere. And so he started laughing at that, and he said, he's fixing to tell me one more or two more. And I can bring the show out, and I can quit. Professional like.
Sure.
I could go into a little bit of a hoedown, do. I'm playing it, I can quit right there. He's that second hit. But it used to bother me at Appalachia Museum.
Yeah.
Then one more could be 3 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or half a minute.
That's true.
If they hadn't said one more, I'd done two halves and come out the same way. But I had to do one more because they wouldn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
so the show wasn't near as good.
Well, they'd usually won. Somebody didn't show up on time. Well, just keep it going. They next act showed up. So
yeah, I think about the show we done over at Gulliver's. Gulliver had never dropped nobody. They said back in on Sunday. Just having trouble with Saturday. Well, we called the Butcher Clan, and all them come. C.H. Bass back in the early 70s. He said, "Where's the manager at? $100 bill. Get us a good table." What's the band here? Lord, he's going to give us a door. Well, shoot, we racked up with a door. Because then rich people come there, and some of them, I hear a good band, and I give them a $50 bill, a $25 bill. Mm-hmm. And then they hit them drunks. And, well, not from drunk, maybe. These guys are getting drunk. Hey, buddy, the five of us. Go get me a bunch of $20 bills, and they give him a stack of $20 bills on Rocky Top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd play a little Rocky Top, and he'd be talking to some girl, you know. And Ricky, 15 minutes. Hey, I missed part of that Rocky Top. Here, I want another. Give me 20, 20, 20. And then a few times, I remember one time we was playing that, the guy handed us tips, you know, and he was wanting to hear one of them things, one of them far-out rock songs, and something I can't think of the name of it right now, but he was wanting it, and so I switched to fiddle player over on electric guitar. He was going to play it. And when he did, that guy come back around the record and said, "Did you play my song?" I said, "Yeah." "Didn't you hear it?" He didn't know the song. He just played something. I said, "You mean you didn't hear it?" He said, "I guess I missed it. I was over talking." I said, "Do it again."
That's funny.
And I said, "You're going to play a little bit of it this time." I said, "He's listening." He didn't even, he wasn't listening either, so we got right. But we'd play sometimes 4 and 5 times one song for one guy. You get a big old wad of 20s, you know.
Absolutely.
Showing off.
Yeah. I used to like when I worked sound, when I worked the soundboard. I need a little bit more bass in my headphones, or you can turn this up for me. So I acted like I did it. How's that? "Oh, that's fine. You did a good job. I didn't even touch it.
Yeah.
Hey, leave bass players out of it.
Oh, I like bass players, man. I love the bass. I
used to do them. I say, "All right, now I'm going to let everybody check the microphone." I knew where they should go. We're not doing sound. I'm going to get back here and set you. Of course, the girls got to have a lot of reverb. I need a little more reverb. I said, "Now, you listen close, because I'm going about a half a notch. Now it's going to change it. Now, how's that? Give me just a little more." I said, "Okay. There's your whole notch." "Yeah, it's about right, I guess." I hadn't done that.
Didn't move nothing.
Just did it. Oh, we was playing that. Me and Dennis Money, he's at this, you know, the recording studio in Nashville now, and we was doing a show. Chet Atkins, we was running the sound for Chet and Kitty Wales and Bobby Wright and Johnny Wright. A whole bunch of stars from Nashville. We was doing it, and Chet said, "Let's run through one." He wanted to hear that sound. He said, "Buddy, that's a good sound. Don't touch it." So we didn't, because he was in there on the board, and this meant up, down. This meant it's okay. And he's a sound man too. Both of us were, and we played it. Well, I put 2 microphones, one in my back pocket, one in each pocket, in case something went out, so I could change it like that. And they were doing a song, and when they did, the ball fell off in that mic like this. It just fell off while Chet was, and that guy give Chet a break. When he did, I said, "He knows what happened." He I stuck another in there and handed it to him. He flipped it back on and said, "You ready?" He started singing. He said, "Boys, I'm going to tell you something. I've worked at the Grand Ole Opry. I worked a lot of shows out there, saw anybody more organized than these two." but you got to learn. That's what is good. I tell them, I say, "Now, if I get a squeal, don't cost you nothing that."
Yeah.
I don't get squeals.
No.
And what it gets squeals is, I look at it as a meter box. It's 200 amp meter box. Put 200 amps in. It ain't going to do nothing. It's them little ones that's going to get you, see? And I turned it up and put some power into it. I told Brother Dono that I loaned him one. He said, "That makes sense, don't it?" I said, "Sure. If you cut that main down, you've cut the whole board down."
Yep.
Nobody got that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Monday night, we got some more shows coming up. And I mean, got the list of them here. We got one for Barney. He'll be here next week or two. Tell us about one here in Clinton. And we got, I just got another big one. Was it church? Was it Clearview or what's that church?
Oh, that's Fairview Baptist Church on Emory Road.
Fairview. Is that what it is, Mike?
Yeah.
Fairview. Where'd I get Clearview at?
I don't know. There's another big church called Cedar Springs.
And it's 13th of November. It's off a ways, okay.
13th of November.
It's
Okay.
at Emory Road and
They're going to feed everybody and have music. And
Right back before you get to Harverson's going up Emory Road.
That's right there at it.
corner of Harbison Crossroads and Emory Road.
Yeah.
oh, we'll tell more about it when it comes up closer. But yeah, we got a few shows coming up. If anybody needs a wedding, or maybe you need somebody to come out and play for a picnic or a birthday party or Maybe you just want to hear some music. You don't have to be in a certain occasion. Just give us a call. We'll be happy to come out and do you up a little show. We like to do an hour, and if you need it, we can do a little bit more for another little bit more money.
Absolutely.
But we do an hour, and so we're glad to be on here. We hope Ron has a good time, and hope you all have a good time. And I remember that song now, Proud Mary. It's one
Proud Mary.
Proud Mary.
So we do something else and call it, Nice Young Mary or something, you know. But anyhow,
All right.
till we get to see you next week, remember what Mr. Walker said. You be good to the Lord, and he'll be good to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David. All right. That does it for Ask Your Neighbor. Stick around for some great classic country music right here in WYSH.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12. Or listen live online at WYSHradio.com. And remember, if you have a question, comment, or problem, call in tomorrow and ask your neighbor. Or email from our website. It's Ask Your Neighbor.